By the early 1990s, the muscle car era was long gone, strangled by emissions laws and fuel crises. Chrysler, Ford, and GM were locked in a war of minivans and sedans. Enthusiasm had been replaced by spreadsheets. Though, inside Chrysler, something unusual was happening. Under CEO Bob Lutz and designer Tom Gale, Chrysler was quietly encouraging rebellion. They believed that even if a car didn't make sense on paper, it could make sense for the soul. They decided to build a car just because it was cool. That idea that became the Prowler, a design experiment, not a product. Chrysler designers sketched a modern interpretation of a 1930s hot rod, which was a car with a long nose, open front wheels, a chopped profile, and a rear-set cabin, a car that looked fast, even standing still. The inspiration came directly from California hot rod culture, where stripped-down Fords from the 30s ruled drag strips and dry lakes. These cars weren't about comfort, they brought attitude. The internal name was Prowler, chosen to suggest something predatory, low, and aggressive. When the clay model was shown to Chrysler, executives loved it. Thus, Chrysler did something unheard of: approve it. Turning the Prowler into a real car was a nightmare. No one in the modern era had built a car with open front wheels, an aluminum-intensive chassis, or a production hot rod with modern safety standards. Thus, the engineers decided to do something radical. They built the car almost entirely out of aluminum. At a time when most cars were steel, the Prowler used an aluminum frame, an aluminum suspension, and composite body panels. This made it extremely lightweight for its size, around 2,800 pounds, astonishing for the 1990s. The layout was equally unusual. The front-mounted engine, a rear-mounted transmission, a transaxle, and a near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution, all this was sports car thinking applied to a hot rod. When the Prowler debuted as a concept in 1993, crowds lost their minds. It reached production in 1997, and the internet lost its temper. Why? Because under that dramatic purple hood sat a 3.5-liter V6, not a V8. At first, it made 214 horsepower, later increased to 253 horsepower. Purists screamed betrayal. A hot rod without a V8? Heresy. But Chrysler had reasons: the emissions compliance, weight balance reliability, and also cost. And despite the V6, the Prowler was quick, 0 to 60 miles per hour, in about 5.9 seconds. Excellent handling, thanks to its layout. Still, perception stuck. The Prowler looked like a beast, but sounded polite. Love it or hate it, nothing else looked like the Prowler. Its most famous color, Prowler purple, became iconic. So did the exposed front suspension, the tiny windscreen, the stretched rear deck, and the jet fighter interior vibe. This was retrofuturism before the term became popular. The Prowler paved the way for an entire wave of nostalgia cars: the Volkswagen New Beetle, Ford Thunderbird, 2002, Chevrolet SSR, and the PT Cruiser, another Chrysler risk. The Prowler proved that design emotion could sell, even in conservative times. There's a bittersweet twist to the Prowler's story. It had launched during the final years of the Plymouth brand. By 2001, Plymouth was shut down. The Prowler survived briefly as a Chrysler Prowler, but production ended in 2002. Its total production was about 11,700 cars. Not many, but enough to make it unforgettable. In a way, the Prowler became Plymouth's farewell letter.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to view the car collection we have on sale from our website, and feel free to get in touch.